Hello, welcome back. We are back again, and this is a special pre-record episode that we brought out slightly early this week in the run-up to Solar and Storage Live. So this is out on the Monday evening, ready for you to listen to Tuesday morning on your way to Solar and Storage Live, which we will all be there. So we will see you there. And we've got a very special guest with us, Phil from Valk, which is one of our favourite mounting systems. But Dan, how are you?
I'm all right. Obviously, we only actually recorded the day after we spoke to Ollie, but yeah, we've had another day. You've been back on your commercial project. I've actually had a day sat in the office. I've been here since 7:30 this morning, and it's currently 8 o'clock. So I'm currently on hour 11 in the office today.
Wow.
So yeah,
you'll be on overtime soon.
I don't know. I'll have to speak to the boss, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, very nice to have Phil with us tonight. I don't think me and Phil ever spoke on Met, so very much looking forward to meeting Phil on Tuesday when I am at Solar.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It'd be good to sort of deep dive into some of the new things from Valk. We'll probably talk about the Valk Ace system that's been out for a little while now, and also some of the things you've got going on at Solar and Storage, because that sounds really exciting. Things like the installer hub training and everything down there. So take it away, Phil.
Busy week coming up. Yeah, busy week coming up. So this will be me third one at Solar and Storage. Again, I've been with the company getting on for 3 years now. And Valk Solar Systems. Yeah, Solar and Storage is obviously a big pull every year. Everyone looks forward to it. You know, obviously Solar as well is another big one. Get a chance to get out there this year, but a couple of the other guys did in the UK office.
Yeah, I think you were there, Dan, weren't you, into Solar?
Yeah, so I've already seen some of the product that Phil's going to speak about tonight. So I've already been a little bit hands-on with it ahead of Solar and stuff. But yeah, very much looking forward to seeing it, getting a little bit more hands-on to it. And I think, will it be on the training stuff that you've got down there, Phil? I know I'm going to speak about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, so I believe, I should have checked this out, but I'm pretty sure we're at stand D110. That's our stand number. So D110, if anyone wants to pop along, obviously, and say hello, very welcome.
D110, yeah.
But yeah, we have got installer hub.
Yeah, definitely pop down to see the Valk stand.
Yeah, we've got installers hub training as well on 3 days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're running 2 sessions every day. So the first one is on Tuesday at 2, and then followed shortly after at 20 past, and then Wednesday at 12 and 20 past. And then Thursday at 20 past 12 and then 12:40 as well. But you can get all that information obviously when you come along or come to the stand.
I'll also put those in the show notes as well. So if anyone's interested in getting hands-on with the Valk kit, that's the perfect place to, if you've not tried using it before, go down.
The installer hub will be showing the Valk Ace this time. It's been out since March, as you probably know. I know you've used it quite a bit, Michael.
We've been using nothing but it for about the last 3 months.
Okay, so it's done really well for us.
The last of our Strongline.
I was going to say, good system, the Strongline with the original system. Nothing wrong with it, really. There was just a couple of things that we changed. We decided to change and sort of move it forward. It's always a difficult one, roof hooks. There's only so much you can do to try and reinvent the roof hook. But, you know, I think there's some criticism sometimes over the size of the rail. It's a bit bulky.
Yeah,
that was the main first reason.
It was a nice chunky rail, really.
For me, that was one of its real strong points, though.
Yeah,
it felt solid. That was for me one of its strong points, and I've preached many a time on our little YouTube channel about my love of Valk and the really tight panel gaps that it offers at being 10 mil, and the fact that it does feel old enough as the adjustability. So I was sad to see Strongline go. I'm not going to lie about that. But it hasn't completely gone, has it, Phil?
No, not yet. No, it is something that's being phased out. It was going to be phased out pretty soon after Valk Ace come in. And then we decided to push it back. So it's still available, I think, until the end of the year. And it might even, I'm not sure, but it might even run alongside it still. Because, you know, there's a couple of things. The rail is not obsolete because obviously we still use that with It might be a bit
Yeah.
of an exclusive. I
Heard it here
told some
first.
people, but yeah, you heard it here first. I might get shot for that. Um, but look, it's one of them things. I'm a bit old school, and I don't always like change, but things do have to change. Things do have to move forward. Um, I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
people love the rail, and then some people didn't like the rail. I like the rail. People that walk up and down, which we're not supposed to, but people are always going to do it. It's very, very sturdy. And that was the trick, is to try and get another rail that's smaller, um, and lower in cost to manufacture,
Produce, yeah.
but still have the same strength and integrity. We feel like we've hit that pretty good. But it's change, isn't it? You can't please all the people.
No,
all the
you
time,
can't.
can
No,
No.
because I'm
Yeah.
right in saying that the Strongline rail is going to remain for trap fixings, isn't it? That's not going to move over to Ace.
It's not for trap. So um it's we don't really call it a strong line. The strong line is one of the hooks. But it was just a normal sort of pitch. Our pitch, it was Valk pitch, basically. That's what we called it. But the Valk pitch rail, the original one with the open top, that is still obviously in use for. So if you're using standing seam, for example, if you're on a standing seam commercial roof, you've got the hammerhead bolt on a standing seam, and that locks into the side of the original Valk pitch rail, the 50 by 50 rail. Also hanger bolts, for example, it would fix in with that as well. Yeah. So it's still got its place.
Yeah, so it should remain for that.
And
I was saying I've got a project I need to speak to you about on Tuesday that's standing seam and clamps. So
okay,
I'll bring some
just
photos.
reach out. Yeah.
I've got.
Yeah, I've done recently actually quite a few projects, garden rooms.
Yeah,
with
if you've
hanger
got
bolts and these-
photos and bits and pieces, yeah, just bring it along, mate.
Yeah,
whatever you've got,
we've got.
and we'll have a little look at it.
We've been supplied by the customer an S5 clamp that fits nicely on their roof. However, the S5 stuff is horrifically expensive, and I'm trying to look for a better alternative.
Yeah.
I think
Phil's your man. I think he'll.
Phil Van der Valk is the man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you got a choice of using Van der Valk, I'd choose it any day.
I would say we partner with S5 as well. We have got a couple of our own clamps, but there's so many different types of seams out there, as you probably know. They've got an absolute plethora of different clamps for different seams, and we do often spec certain ones, that you can actually get our sort of bracket and our hammerhead bolt to go on as well. But yeah, you're right, they are quite expensive. But I can have a look at it and see it might be something we can get away with a normal straight seam, one of ours.
Well, there's that little conundrum sorted on Tuesday. But
Yeah.
I'm right in saying that the Van der Valk Ace stuff is massively cheaper. I buy it and I sell it, so I know it's massively cheaper than the Strongline stuff. But it's actually just as solid, and it's tested to the same standards, isn't it? And I think, was I right in saying that the rail's actually stiffer, although it's thinner and lighter?
Yeah, so that's it. So I always try not to use the word cheaper, because we don't make anything cheap. It's high quality stuff, obviously. We always like to say it's German quality, made by us, the Dutch. So, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, it does. The price point is a lot more competitive, definitely. That's another reason why we decided to change, because, again, I think if you're doing installs, especially in a residential market, you're going to get some people that just want to do a really good job, obviously, like you guys and other people that we know, and they will just use the best system they can get their hands on and not worry too much about the costs. But then you've got, unfortunately for us, a lot of people out there that will just use anything, and it's trying to find that balance. We're never going to be as cheap as some of our, Chinese counterparts, for example. But we're not trying to be. We're just trying to make a quality product, with the same sort of strength. And it's making sure that we had a quality product to offer a good price point. And obviously we're doing very well on the price point now. And we've had distributors and wholesalers that have never stocked our pitch roof system that hold it now as well. So it speaks volumes, really.
That's brilliant. Yeah, the availability of it's better. I've been really impressed with the Van der Valk Ace. I mean, I got to use it pretty much as it launched. We did a few projects, I think, and to be honest, I was impressed. for getting first hands on. I think it had a few sort of teething bits. Credit to you and the team, you actually managed to address a lot of those quite early on and made some improvements to it based on feedback, our feedback, and other installers' feedback, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how we like to work. Again, for the people that don't know, Van der Valk, it is a family-run company, and it is like one big family, really. From my point of view, when we launch something like this, what I want to do is get it into the hands of the consumers and people like yourself. It's all right selling it to distributors and wholesalers, but at the end of the day, you guys are working with it day in, day out. So feedback is imperative, and a couple of the early bits of feedback that we had and things that I even noticed as well, to be honest with you, a lot of people were saying that, when the hooks finally get to them, so for example, they've come from Netherlands and then they'll go into the warehouse and they'll come out to you, you take it to site and you throw it up on the roof.
13 mils.
Nuts are coming off, bolts are coming off. If you're lucky, they land in the gutter. If they don't, they pop over the top and then you've got to get down the lift and get them. So one thing that we done, I've actually got one of the hooks here. I brought one home to have a little look at. So this is our heavy duty Strongline, which I think you've used, Michael, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, with put the shims behind
we've got I
that's
think
right.
currently about 20 boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what we was finding is that when they was coming out, basically this was rattling all over the place. So as you know, it comes out of the box like this. Okay.
That's it.
And then when you turn it 90 degrees, you're ready for the install. But this was all sort of flopping down and the nuts were coming undone. You can see obviously it's a lot more stiff now.
There's like a U channel on some of them as well, isn't there? I've seen that on the plain towel hook version.
I had it on the plain towel hooks the weekend. A little bit of an extra bit
on the plain towel and the Strongline. So this is our heavy duty Strongline, and we've still got the Strongline as well. And I'll talk in a moment about differences in them too. But the main feature what we've done is we've got a little, I don't know if you can see that there, a little plastic sort of spring. Just if I hold it around the other way, it might be easier to see it. So a little plastic sort of spring here.
Yeah.
Okay, and that clips in, and what that does, that just holds it open in the prime position. All right. So a lot of people, I think, when they was getting on site as well, they were sort of playing about with it maybe as well before they put it on, and because it's you want to play about with it. Yeah.
yeah, same.
Guilty. Yeah. I'm doing it. That's what you want to do, isn't it? You want to try it out, you want to test it, see what it's like. So, and the nuts were quite loose, but now these are held in place with Loctite, basically. I think it's like one of the adhesives or something like that. But basically, that has to be broken with a TX30, so it will stay open until you in the optimal position until you put your rail on. Whether you put it in, obviously horizontally or vertically. Again, with this hook, you can mount it both ways.
I'm going to say that's another brilliant feature of the Valk Ace.
For me, that is the best thing that a mounting manufacturer could have possibly done. Just streamlining how holding one hook to do vertical, horizontal. Because obviously, Mike's done. This podcast all started right back talking about our slate job, which was actually was it on Van der Valk Ace, Mike, at the Lakes, or was it on Strongline?
I think it was Strongline. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
I might think it might even be. Michael put a clipping of it here. It might even be on because it was in January.
Okay.
And we had vertical and horizontal rails in that, and having the one hook to do both is the best thing.
Such a lifesaver.
Anything else, that was the one thing that was the real game changer for me with Ace.
Yeah. Because sometimes as well, you end up having to reconfigure how you do your rails based on
when you're on the job,
an obstacle in the roof.
On the fly.
So so you might end up with a load of horizontal hooks, but actually you need vertical hooks, and you hadn't got any on the van because you've had to change.
Yeah, we that's the good feedback that we've had. In regards to you get on site and that, and someone might even be subcontracting for someone, and you don't ever you don't always see the jobs. Then you get there and realise that you've got to put one up against a skylight or something and change the orientation. Rather than waiting around for another hook or nipping back to see if there's any in stock, you've got it there.
You're there
on the fly. It's, and again, that was the bit that I think where people first looked at it and didn't realise maybe that's what the hook can do. until you start using it, or until you see it at a
It's
show,
not.
or
It's
we
not
come out,
clear.
it's not clear. So people look at it and go, "Oh, that looks a bit much, doesn't it?" But when you find out what it can do, it's actually very ingenious. But like I say, getting back slightly, we have still got the Strongline hook as well. So this is I should mention about this really, is this our heavy duty Strongline. And hold on, let me just
So
switch my.
Strongline is actually the hook system rather than the rail system. So we're probably calling it Strongline and referring to the old rail system, but actually the
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So yeah, you're right. So the old system was just called Valk pitched, as far as I
pitch.
remember. That's all we called it. Now it's called Valk Ace. And it's the different type of hook. So we got the slate hook, we got the plain tile roof hook, and then we've got the Strongline, and then we've got the heavy duty Strongline. So the Strongline is still available. The main differences is that the Strongline is stainless steel basically, and this is galvanized, obviously, so it's a lot more cost effective to produce. And this has a fixed point here rather than the Strongline, which you can actually adjust it in 3 points. Now, when you're on site and you're on a roof, especially if you've got like a flat roof, maybe like is it Marley Modern or something like that? These work pretty much all the time, so you can get away with using these hooks. And they work for most concrete tiles, but then you do get the odd occasion where, I don't know if you come across this, Michael, maybe you could fill me in, but if you've got, say, a Marley Mendip or a double Roman or something like that, you can get a wave of a tile, for example, at the bottom where it sort of mirrors the rafter, and then it's just not, you can't move it about enough, unfortunately, to stop that massive kick up of the tile. Whereas with with a Strongline, obviously you've got that extra bit of maneuverability to move it over. But then what I've been saying to people, and I know I think Sam Featherstone's done it a couple of times, where he keeps some Strongline on the van, and if you do happen to get into that position where you can't use these ones, you can just use the Stronglines in that area if you're unlucky enough for it to fall in that position.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tip. Actually, yeah, just keep some of those. Actually,
yeah,
and
because
also,
generally
so
you want to.
on the heavy duty hook, say on the heavy duty hooks, you can use the shims on them to pack them out. But like you say, if you need to swing that hook over, to meet that shape of the tile, then yeah, you might be looking to use the
Absolutely. So if we
Strongline
pretend that's
to
a
adjust.
rafter,
Yeah,
obviously
and
a
that
bit
was
thick. If you're fixing it here, for example, you want to be fixing it into the middle as much as you can, but you can fix it right over here on the rafter. But then if this still is in the way, obviously, of the tile, then if you had the Strongline, you could move this part over to here effectively. So it's definitely going to get out of the way.
that's
But
right.
it's only on the rare occasion that happens, But it's worth having a box of the Strongline on the van, and the main reason is obviously to use that
Definitely.
is because again it's bringing the cost down of the install, because it is obviously a lot more cost effective to buy, and also with a heavy duty Strongline, you can put them in the edge zones. You can do them every other rafter rather than every rafter, so because they're that little bit stronger. All right, so it just brings down the whole price point. And then if you have to throw some Stronglines up, then you can do that as well.
You can put them in the mix. It's good that you can
Mix
sort
and
of
match.
interchange to suit the roof layout if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that you've been listening to the sort of feedback as well, to sort of put those improvements. I know some of the feedback I heard, and I hadn't necessarily experienced this myself, but they were saying if you're putting 3 panels on a rail, then you've got to be precise with that rail because the end caps and end clamps are just slightly wider now. Is that something you've looked at or heard about?
Yeah, we have heard it. Yeah, you can get 3 panels on a 3.5 meter rail, but obviously it is tight. And the idea is, most people are going to want to put the end caps on. Basically, we do the black end caps that sort of go over, and they fit in onto the clamp. Again, you'll see them next week. We've probably seen them before anyway. But
So it's actually
the end caps are actually another massive improvement to the Ace stuff over the old pitched.
Yeah.
They sit
it looks
on
nice
well,
and
don't
neat,
they?
doesn't it?
They're really sort of clip round the end clamp itself, don't they? And
That's right.
it does
but
finish
that's
that off
again,
quite nicely.
Again, that's the reason why you've got that. So you've got an optimal measurement that you've got to have at the end of the panels. So it's between 30 and 60 mils to get that cap on. So it's designed obviously to just fit in there perfectly. But yeah, I do get it. It can be a bit snug at times, and I think if you start off and you get along, all of a sudden you realise you've got to sort of move everything along. It can be a bit of a pain. But I think it's one of the things
that leads me on to another feature of the Valk Ace is you can slide that rail. If you just slacken off the T30 bolts now, you can slide that rail really easily. So if you've got a 3-panel system that you're trying to fit to that rail and you decided actually it all needs to move over, you can quite easily slide that rail and then just start with your panels on that end clamp, and you'll know you won't run out of rail then.
Yeah, it's another thing that we added on before it was launched. It's this little bit of plastic on the end, which we call the third hand, effectively. So when you first put the rail on, you can actually clip. So if we're doing it horizontally, the rail horizontally, and we clip it in, before we tighten it up, you can actually slide the rail across to line it all up, basically, before you tighten it down. But again, obviously, if you do need to move it, you can undo it, and it will still hold on to the rail without it falling out, effectively. So it's just like a little helping hand, if you like. But another good little feature, which a lot of people don't realise what that's for, but that's what that's for, basically.
Yeah,
it's really useful. Oh, did you not? No,
I didn't realise that.
I've used it a few times. To be honest, we've come along and gone. Actually, now we've got all the rails on the roof. We've decided the centre position might just need to move over slightly, 100 mil. Yeah, which used to be a bit of a pain with the old rail because you've got to make sure all those T-bolts were sort of
be tied up
down. Yeah, so it actually works really well.
Yeah, you can literally put the rails on and just clip them in loose. That third hand all the way along will hold them in place while you slide it along. Obviously it's a little bit more difficult if you've got an old roof and it's got some bow in it. But when we've used it a couple of times, I've been on sites doing the first sort of visits and what have you. It works really well.
Yeah,
I mean, another massive bonus that I really like about the Ace stuff is the rail splices. I don't think we've covered them yet. They are a massive improvement. And the fact that everything on it is a T30. There's no more 13 mil bolts on there. So it is. I used to actually take 2 impact drivers up to the roof, one with a 13 mil and one with a T30. Now I only take one. Well, Phil doesn't know this, Mike, but he actually owes me an impact wrench because 2 weeks before we started using Valk Ace, we bought a new impact wrench. Yeah, especially for the 13 mil bolts. So we had one of each.
You wanted to be like me, did you?
Everyone wants to be like you. I'm just looking for the right hat. But no, I don't need it. So
yeah, so it looks good if you got 2 in a holster. It looks good, doesn't it? And you're balanced on the roof, so it's this weight distribution. So maybe think of it like that.
2 in a holster and a hat, perfect.
Yeah, again, it's getting to that point where we're thinking about speed of install. Obviously, we sell the screws. Now some people use third-party screws, but we sell the TX30 screws. You've got a TX30 at the bottom of the clamp to tighten it up, and obviously a TX30 for the clamps itself. And you're right what you said about the coupling system. The coupling system was something which was a bit of a bugbear a lot of people, especially in the depths of winter, because as you know, it was an external coupling piece with a rail, and you have to turn sort of 4 hammerhead bolts and then tighten them up with 10 mil. But now it's just a toolless insert, so it's a steel insert, goes in halfway, and it stops halfway with a little tooth on it. You slide the other one on, it's pretty seamless. Well, it's really seamless and quick, and it's just that right tension where it doesn't come out very easy, but
it doesn't. No, you can
get it apart again.
If you've got long lengths of runs of rail, you can bang loads of couplers in before taking them up onto the roof. So it's as much as there's stuff that I don't like on the Ace products, there is equally as much that I do really like.
Yeah.
So it is a credit to Van der Valk. It will remain our only mounting system that we use here.
Thanks, mate. That's nice to hear. I think it's one of them. I'll pay you next week.
Yeah.
No, I think I think it's one of the things again. Just reiterating that it's trying to get that balance right. You're never going to have the perfect product. We like to think we're close with it, and again, the
No, but
stats have proved that it's
if
been
you've
very
got the
successful.
ability and openness, if you've got the ability and openness to listen to installers and make changes that installers want, then it doesn't matter if out the box it's not perfect, because unfortunately nothing
Those
is.
improvements will come.
Mm.
And I mean,
Yeah,
I had the
definitely.
conversation with Jason when we started using the Valk Ace about, well, why didn't they put it in the hands of installers first to find all these little bugbears? Well, as far as I'm aware, they wouldn't have been able to get it through MCS accreditation. They've had to get through that before they're able to put it in hands of installers. Am I correct in saying so?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to obviously go through the MCS. It's all MCS accredited, obviously, and we did give it out to some people to trial it as well. And that's where some of the
Prior
feedback.
to MCS.
No, after we'd done it.
After, yeah.
But again, it was just sort of it was just little, like I say, with a plastic clip, for example, or the plastic spring, I should say. That was something that was, I got some feedback, from people, and I went straight to the, and that's another good thing. Obviously having Dutch colleagues of our R&D department, I'll go back to work the next day and look, a couple of guys have said this, and then the more people sort of bang the drum and say the same thing, then actually we've got to start listening, and then make, if some people come out with the odd thing and then you don't hear about it again, it's not really a problem. But if you hear the same problem or the same issue that people are experiencing over and over again, we will listen, and that's what we've done. So again, it's credit to the guys that used it. I think Sam was one of the ones. Sam Featherstone. Shout out to Sam. He was one of the ones that said about the nut coming off, and yeah, he does a podcast. I think I don't know.
Well, actually, while we're on that subject, go and like and subscribe to their renewables podcast, because they are big supporters of what we're doing as well. So I must say, go and hit the like and subscribe on there.
I was going to wear one. I was going to wear their shirt, to be honest with you, but I thought I'd better wear my own logo.
Yeah, you should have done. We're all for them on here. Oh yeah, look.
Yeah, never heard of them. Don't really like them or anything.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
They will be down at Solar and Storage, so go and say hello, or Dan will probably get beaten up now. So
yeah,
I think I'll take my chances with a pair of them.
Yeah, but definitely while you're down at Solar and Storage, go and have a look at the Van der Valks, and go to the installer hub and get hands on with it. If you've not used it yet, go and try it, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you've not used it. It's a good mounting system, and it is, like we're saying, it's really solid rail. It's a box profile now, isn't it? And it is absolutely solid.
Yeah, and it's designed with some sort of beveled edges, so basically the clamps click on. I think you add one there, Dan, so that you basically offer it up the bottom, it just clicks on,
so you can kind of see.
Yeah. I know some people say sometimes it's quite difficult to move about, but it's one of the things you've got to be a bit more sort of genteel with it at the bottom, rather than trying to pull it at the top, because obviously if you're turning it, it's going to cause more friction.
Yeah,
so
I think the secret is it's to keep it vertical, isn't it?
It's got to be
vertical and sliding.
It's got to be 90 degrees with the rail, hasn't it?
Yeah. And again, it's one of the things where it needs to be tight, obviously. It needs to be tight. We don't want it moving about too much, but you can move it about. We've also got optimiser clamps that go on as well, that just clip on.
Fact. The optimizer clamps are brilliant, and another product we've been using is the cable supports and MC4 supports.
Yes, I've been using them.
Yeah, the black one that goes over.
Yeah, they can go either on top or below the rail. They're really good.
Yeah, because they hold the MC4. So as you're putting that panel down, just drop your MC4 connection into it.
Yeah,
it's so easy.
It's another
for cable ties.
It's another big thing, really. Cable management. I'm as you know, Michael, I'm big on cable management, and that I see some real horror stories when I'm out there. I'm sure you guys have come across them as well. And that's a big, just that little bit of plastic. It's a massive talking point. It's amazing. Made a world of difference. So it's the whole system as a whole, not just the hook. It's it's the rail, the price point.
That is probably the biggest takeaway for Van der Valk, isn't it? It is an entire mounting system. It isn't just a hook rail and mid and end clamps. It is a full solution. To take the the middle management term, it's a full turnkey solution.
Correct. Yeah.
I would say even on your trap roof, you've got the plastic cable management clips for the trap roof mountings, and that me and Ollie, I think it was 400 odd panels we did in Carlisle, and we used those clips there, and that saves so much time because obviously on a trap roof you haven't got many options for cable management.
That's the one that you're talking about, the one that fits into the little holes at the end of the trap rail, right?
That's it. Yeah. So you've got the pre-perforated holes on the end of the trap rail to lock those clips in.
Yeah. So some people probably wouldn't have seen them because there's still some old stock knocking about. But the people that have seen it, again, they love that because it just clips in. You've got your MC4s, your AC/DC cables going there as well. It's a nice, neat design. That's a massive selling point. It almost sells
I'm assuming
the
you'll have them on show at the stand. Yeah, you'll have them on show, won't you, on the stand? So go and see them. So in terms of this show, have you got anything else that might be interesting down there on the stand?
Yeah, we have. For people that haven't seen it already at Munich this year, we've got the ValkPro Plus Next Gen. Bit of a mouthful. So obviously we're well known as you know for our flat roof system, ValkPro Plus system. It's a great system. It sells itself. Everyone loves it.
Only flat roof system.
Yeah, we get that a lot. It's nice.
I've got Valk flat roof on my own house as well.
Yeah.
Some of the panels are on flat roof.
You wouldn't have anything else. Yeah, it's like I say. I think when people use it, they don't want to use anything else. Again, we've got massive market share with ValkPro Plus, but the new system, the Next Gen, is something that we developed for the bigger size panels that we're seeing now. So you've seen these 650s that are on show, and they're size of a plasterboard now. I think they're 2.4 meters, and
virtually, aren't they?
Them.
They really are.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be carrying them. But obviously, with that, the main difference is the ValkPro Plus, as you know, clamps on the short side. So if we've got our landscape, for example, we're clamping on the short side. But then when the panel gets bigger, obviously you've got more chance of flex, or if it's windy, you can actually see them sometimes when you're on site, and obviously it can cause problems, micro cracking, for example. So this system basically clamps on the long side. So just very quickly on the ends of the runs, you'll have a 350 mil rail, and then where the two panels meet each other, you'll have a 1350 mil rail that sort of bridges that gap, and then they become very sturdy. And again, we've changed the design of that. Funny enough, when I showcased it last year in Munich, we had a clamp, quite a fiddly clamp, I would say. Not a lot of people liked it. I went massive on it myself. Once you got the hang of it, it was okay, but we just weren't quite happy with it. And we also had aluminium bases as well, and they was a little bit fragile when you want to move them, and they sort of bent a little bit at the bottom, so it wasn't too over the moon with it. We've now got steel bases, and we've also got a clampless, a toolless system, so it's basically like a clamp. So I suppose if you can imagine like a Stanley toolbox where you lift it's like a biscuit tin. You clamp it down.
Latches over, does it?
I got a little bit hands-on with it at Intersolar this year, and the one standout for me on that one was the fact that it is completely toolless. So
again,
just speed of install. Just speed of install, because generally when they're going to be used with the big panels, they're going to be big jobs. All right, that's what we're doing. And at the moment, for example, since it was launched, we've been manufacturing that and sending it straight out to site. So it's not even going on the shelves at the moment in the UK. We're not going to have any, I don't think, until maybe October, at the end of this month, start of October, because it's literally just going straight to site. We're coming out of the plant, going straight to site. So that's been massive for us.
It sounds like there's some big installs going out there with it then. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's big commercial ones. We're pricing for it already. People know that, big commercial jobs that we do, it's a bit further down the line, but it's lucky that it's not that far around the corner now. We'll have them in stock and they'll be ready to go out to site. But yeah, we'll have that on show. I think in a full east-west array that's available in east-west. Again, that's generally what people will use on the bigger sites. So you can come and have a little look at that, come and have a play with that. yeah, really excited about that one as well.
No, that's really good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to solar and storage this year. I assume it's going to be bigger than ever, and I think they've even sectioned a part off as EV charging show or something like that. I think it's getting that big that they've kind of grown it into a separate show. But we'll stick to the solar side and
Yeah,
and
it's
that.
going to be a busy week. Yeah, we're actually up for an award on. Should say actually, we're actually up for an award on the Tuesday night. So for the Valk
Really
Next Gen. Yeah, so innovation award.
nice.
So fingers crossed we might win. We might win that. But there's some good products in there, to be fair. So we'll have to wait and see. But that should be a good event
Yeah,
as well.
hopefully. Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, hopefully you'll be. I assume that Tuesday night the awards.
That's a Tuesday night.
After
Yeah,
the first night. Yeah,
I think they used to do it at the end, but people would get smashed,
Yeah.
and I don't remember nothing about it. So they do it at the start of the week now. I think.
Yeah. I don't think I'm at the awards this year. I think I'm actually at the SIG Energy Awards, actually, on the Tuesday night. So I think that's running on the same night, actually. So,
I'll be back at work.
Dan will be back at work. You live at work.
Hour 12.
Hour 12. But no, that's really good.
No dinner, Dan.
Yeah, it looks like he's not had any dinner, unfortunately.
I
do
I'm
worry
actually
about it
been home
sometimes.
this evening to have a dinner for a change. So
Right. He's on hour 8, really. The other 8 hours he's been watching YouTube.
So Van der Valk have still got their Valk planner as well, haven't they, on their portal and on website and stuff for designing systems. And I know when we do some bigger domestic systems, we actually go to Waxman and they do them for us. But you still have got that planner on your website as well, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there's a lot on the website, to be fair. The
Not
main
that
things
I can currently log into it.
What, into the planner?
Locked out.
Have you been blocked out? Oh, send me an email and I'll unblock you. Yeah, there'll be no problem.
There we go, sorted.
There was an ulterior motive behind that comment, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think what happened with a lot of people is that when we switch, because you're probably talking about the Esin tool. So we've got the Esin tool that you can design.
I remember that. Yeah.
Flat. So we had it updated, and I think when a new one was updated, we sent out loads of emails, and I suppose like a lot of people, you see it come up and delete or whatever, and people aren't migrated properly. So then when they try and log into the new one, they try and use their old password, and then they get blocked.
Got you.
So I'll unblock you, and that'll be all right. But yeah, we're running the Esin tool still live. And you can use that for all of our systems. Well, I say all of the systems.
It
maybe
used to be
not
brilliant
all
for
of them.
designing, like, say, flat roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the Esin tool. Yeah.
We've actually got a new tool that we're running as well at the moment. So if you guys aren't on it, I'll contact you and get you hooked up to it. It's our Verto tool, and at some stage, I think most things will go over to that anyway.
It'll progress to that.
But the Verto tool is purely for flat roof at the moment, and that is really intuitive. That's a great one to use. I'm pretty crap when it comes to software. I weren't sure if I was going to be able to log on here tonight, to be fair. I normally ask the kids to help me. I can barely turn the TV on. Bit of an old dinosaur. Yeah, it's purely for flat roof at the moment, but you've got a few options similar to the old one where you've got satellite mode and white mat mode, but you also got the import mode as well. So if you've got a design with the panels on it, you can actually just import a JPEG or PDF, and it'll ask you for a measurement one side of the building, for example, north to south, and measure it at 15 meters or whatever it is, and then it'll scale everything, and then you can just drag and drop your sub areas of panels on it, and I can do them in seconds. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's great. I like using that. And you can also use that for our solar fix as well. So you could do your own solar fix projects if you can't have a ballasted system for whatever reason. So there's a lot more on that. It needs a bit of practice. We do offer training on it as well. So if anyone wants training, they can approach us. But it's one of the things, you can't break it. Just have a little play about with it.
Have a go.
Yeah, and that's been really, really popular, to be fair. People are loving that, especially the big EPCs and that are doing the big sites and stuff,
Really handy to have that. Yeah, that's That's really good, Phil. I really appreciate you joining us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you down at Solar and Storage. I know we've said it a few times now, but yeah, hopefully you're on your drive down to Solar and Storage as we speak, and make Van der Valk your first port of call.
By the time this comes out, we'll be on our way. Yeah, Monday morning.
We'll be there, and
setting up. I'm helping on the rig setting up. I'll be there all week. So if anyone wants to come over, come and say hello. We'll have beer on tap as well and coffee. So whatever tickles your fancy.
Look at that. Dan's face just then when you said that. Yeah. I think that was to the beer and not the coffee, though.
Yeah.
Jason's driving home.
He is now.
Yeah.
Just actually quick question. Actually, is the Van der Valk kit for anyone? Is it available on any of the solar design tools? Do you know of
the kits, the doubles, the quattros, the triples? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, so actually, like people who might use Open Solar or Easy PV, is the Valk kit on any of those?
So it's not. It's on. You mentioned Waxman early on. They use a system called Eternity. It's something like that.
Eternity,
So it's it works through that. There has been some. I think the reason why we haven't got a lot of API connections is because it's to do with the sort of edge and corner zones, effectively. And I don't think some of them can actually register. I know that there's some competitors out there that of maybe using some of these, and you can go into the edge and corner zones. It's not being calculated correctly. I think safety is always key for us, and I think unless it's not going to calculate it correctly, we're not going to do it. But mounting is a separate thing. There's a lot more to it, than some other bits and pieces that you'd be getting through on a day-to-day basis on site. Different hooks, different flat systems, for example, flat roof systems, for example. There's obviously different friction coefficients and different wind areas, snow zones, etc. So there's a lot of sort of algorithms go around in the background, and when it's doing calculations, and again, if it's not right, it's obviously cause for concern. So what we always say to people, if you want it done properly, use the planner tool.
Use the
unless
really
you know you're
in
unless you know for a fact that you're in the middle zone, then you really want to be using the correct tool for the job.
Yeah, it's worth having the download of those calculations and the design, just really to cover yourself with the installation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Phil, thank you very much for joining us, and thanks all for listening. Good to see you again. Dan, thank you as well. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on this. We're getting lots of good feedback about this, but there's also people telling me I've never heard of it. So if you wouldn't mind just hitting that subscribe button for us, and just spread the word, because hopefully we'll be able to have more of these chats, and we will see you on another one next week, which we'll probably be talking about what went on at Solar and Storage. And
next week will be the follow-up, won't it?
Yeah. So we will be back with that. But
absolutely. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Certainly will do.
Thank you very much. See you all soon. Cheers.
Yeah. For a bit or two. See ya.
Bye.